Chapter title: The Battle of Mirian. Daenerys Targaryen stood on the walls of Mirian, watching as the slave master's armies gathered on the horizon. She knew that this battle would be the most important of her life. If she lost, all her work to free the slaves and establish a just rule in Mirian would be for nothing. The army of Mirian was outnumbered, but Daenerys refused to give up. She had her Unsullied, her Dothraki, and her dragons. And she had a plan. As the slave master's armies advanced, Daenerys ordered her forces to fall back. The enemy pursued them, thinking they had the upper hand. But then, out of nowhere, Drogon appeared. The dragon soared over the battlefield, breathing fire and striking fear into the hearts of the slave master's armies. They scattered, trying to avoid the flames, but it was too late. The dragon's fury was unstoppable. Daenerys seized the opportunity and led her forces in a charge. The Unsullied formed a shield wall, while the Dothraki rode around the flanks. They clashed with the enemy, swords ringing and blood spilling. Daenerys fought with all her might, wielding a dragonbone-tipped spear with deadly accuracy. She had never felt so alive, so powerful. She was the mother of dragons, and she would not be defeated. But as the battle raged on, Daenerys saw that victory was slipping away. The slave masters had brought more soldiers than she had anticipated, and they were well trained and well armed. They began to overwhelm her forces, pushing them back towards the city. Daenerys knew that this was her last chance. She called out to her dragons, commanding them to unleash their full power. Drogon, Rhaegal, and Vice-Ryan took to the skies, their wings blocking out the sun. They breathed fire and ice, scorching the earth and freezing the enemy. The slave master's armies were decimated. They retreated in disarray, leaving their dead and wounded behind. Daenerys had won. As the sun set over the battlefield, Daenerys surveyed the destruction. She had won the battle, but at what cost? The losses had been high, and the city was in ruins. But she knew that she had done the right thing. She had fought for freedom and justice, and she. Network error. Chapter title: The Siege of Mirian, continued. Daenerys Targaryen stood atop the walls of Mirian, watching as the armies of Yunkai and Astapor marched toward her city. She had ordered her armies to meet them on the battlefield, but her advisors were cautioning against it, warning of the dangers of an open conflict. As they debated their next move, a messenger arrived with news from the Greyjoys. They had pledged their allegiance to Daenerys and were sailing to Mirian to offer their aid. Daenerys knew that this was a crucial moment in her fight for the Iron Throne. She needed to make a bold move to show her strength and inspire loyalty in her followers. She turned to her advisors and said, "We will not wait for them to attack us. We will take the fight to them." With that, she mounted her dragon, Drogon, and took to the skies. Her armies followed her lead, charging out of the gates of Mirian and meeting the enemy armies head-on. In the chaos of battle, Daenerys fought fiercely, her dragon's flames scorching the enemy lines. She saw her Unsullied holding their ground and her Dothraki riders circling the enemy's flanks. She knew that victory was within reach. As the last of the enemy soldiers fell, Daenerys looked out across the battlefield, her heart filled with a sense of triumph. She had won a great victory, and her enemies had been humbled. But she knew that there would be more battles to come, and that the road to the Iron Throne would be long and treacherous. She turned to her advisors and said, "We must continue to fight, to show the world that we are worthy of ruling the Seven Kingdoms." And with that, Daenerys Targaryen, the mother of dragons, prepared for the next stage of her journey.